and welcome again to the Executive Room podcast, where we delve deep into the minds of remarkable executives who have shaped the business world with their ideas and actions. I'm your host, Kimberly Afonso, CEO and founder of the K Consulting Group, and today it's an honor to have Iga Wyrzykowski join us. Iga is the founder of Ignight Consulting, a concept development and project management firm that specializes in commercial, retail, hospitality, and airport construction. With over 10 years of experience, Iga has led major projects, including the creation of the Treat brand and the rollout of Express Spa remodels. In 2020, she launched the first COVID-19 testing center in an airport, spearheading the rapid expansion of Express Check. Previously, Iga worked at top firms like Gensler and HHA, where she managed the rollout of over 40 dry bar locations across North America. So let's get started. Really exciting. Iga, you have had a really impressive career in design, managing major projects across retail, hospitality, and aviation. Including, as we said, the launch of the first airport COVID-19 testing center. Can you tell us a little bit more about the origins of your consulting firm and also your journey to building the company into the success it is today?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. So I founded Ignite Consulting in 2022, and it was when I was moving from New Jersey to Tennessee. And at this time, I really felt that I was reaching this career ceiling. And the next steps available to me just felt more lateral than upward. So at that time, it just felt so clear that it was time for a major change. So therefore, I developed Ignite Consulting. And as you were mentioning, so Ignite, we offer an array of services from site analysis, site surveys, full project and construction management, and concept and brand development. Although Ignite Consulting was developed in 2022, it wasn't until May of 24 that we actually landed our major client, which is Johnson & Murphy. So we're super excited to have them on board. And while our initial progress was a little slow, we are fully set up for a really bright future. We have so many exciting opportunities that are coming our way.
Great, and that's really amazing to hear. And can you share with us some of the strategies that have been key to your success in handling the complexity and high standards of your projects? We'd love to hear a little bit more about some of your projects. We know you work on really interesting stuff. How do you ensure that your company delivers consistent quality?
Sure. So as an architect by profession, my background and past experience have significantly shaped my approach. So when I started my architectural journey with Heitler Houston Architects in New York City, that's who I was working as a project architect for 3.5 years and overseeing all the dry bar build outs. And that to me was super exciting, is getting involved with that particular brand. And it was during that time that I really honed in on skills in developing high quality architectural drawings and establishing my own standards for design. I also gained extreme experience navigating construction sites and managing complex projects and just mastering the overall project management side of things. And then these skills were more defined when I went to Gensler, who is a leading global firm. And that opportunity came to me just by, really my dedicated work ethic, just how motivated I've always been. And, it was an amazing opportunity at that time. So the skills that I've developed from both companies are still with me till today. and my interactions with clients and projects. So with Ignite Consulting, I prioritized respect, transparency, and treating our clients like family. That is super important to me. And anyone that has worked with me will know that my clients and my projects are my top priority. My commitment is never to overcharge and under deliver. We prioritize all of our projects, how big or how small they are, as the most important projects of our company. And this dedication that I have, I also share it with our vendors and contractors and subcontractors and even future team members and employees, because it really does foster this balanced and successful work environment that we have going on so far.
Really great standards, and it's really clear that you're committed to delivering an amazing service, and that's really what brings the business back or referrals. That's something we also do at the KA Consulting Group, so it was really nice to hear your values, very similar to ours as well. And your firm recently achieved diverse business certification in 7 states, and you're working towards certification in more states. So how does this benefit your company and your clients? And what are the next steps in this process? And how do you really envision it impacting your business growth?
So yes, we're super excited. We have ACDBE certification in 7 states. So we have Tennessee, New York, New Jersey, California, Colorado, Pennsylvania, and Texas. And what ACDBE is, it's essentially Airport Concessions Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. And in order to operate a concession in an airport, you have to have an ACDBE partnership. So having this certification really opens up our doors in how we can serve our clients. We not only do we work as a project management for our clients, but now this allows us to potentially operate and manage their locations long term. And also this DBE certification in some states also qualifies us for an SBE, which is a small business enterprise. And that allows us to partner with contractors on projects. And as contractors are, building out their locations, they do need to meet specific DBE goals for their location. So having that certification allows us to partner with them. And our next goal is to actually obtain WBE, which is Women Business Enterprise. So we're just continuing to expand our services and find ways to better support our clients and our contractors. So with these different certifications, our growth is absolutely immense, and we're ready and so excited for the rapid expansion that this can offer.
Really great to hear. And so many of those certifications are really well known. As you said, they open a lot of doors. So I think that serves as great inspiration for a lot of our other, listeners of the podcast who could also qualify to look into those. Is the process pretty clear of how to apply for things like that? Or do you have any, recommendations to our listeners of things they should keep in mind?
Yeah. The first application that you have to get is for your home state where your business is out of. And I think that is the most difficult one. I personally use an attorney for that, and I do recommend doing that. There's a lot of paperwork, documentation that it's a lot for one person to handle. So I think trying to get that original initial application out and approved, it will benefit the companies just to use an attorney for that specializes in those certifications. Once you have the first one, going after all the other states, it's an interstate application, which is super easy. I think that's something that can be easily done within the firm itself. But the first one, I would recommend an attorney.
Great advice for anyone listening. So thank you for sharing that. And I'd love for us to move a little bit into sustainability, especially with your background. It's becoming so important in design and construction. Can you discuss some of the work you've done related to sustainability, your interest in sustainability, and what challenges have you faced in implementing sustainable solutions? We know there's a lot of challenges right now to be sustainable, so would love to hear your take on it.
Sure. So sustainability in airports actually has been a significant importance over the past decade, I would say, where almost every airport is requiring tenants to meet minimum sustainability requirements. And those minimum sustainability requirements are essentially using low VOC paint, sustainable materials, localized materials, stuff like that. So, but then there's other airports that are raising that bar just a little bit higher and requiring tenants to achieve a minimum of 40 LEED certified points. And this goes for airports that are achieving LEED certification as a whole. So it does get a little bit more challenging, but it's exciting to see that the US-based airports are moving in that direction, with incorporating more greenery, and some are even incorporating outdoor spaces in their designs. And what's interesting is, the US airports, I feel like we're on the start of really moving that way, and at least have been for the last 10 years. But we've been seeing that trend in international airports for years already. So it's nice to see that everything is coming to our side now. And I think it's very crucial for designers, the concessions that are operating in airports, as well as contractors, to understand and adopt these sustainable solutions in airports, because it is here and there is a demand for it. And it's only going to increase as the years go by. The most recent one, I've actually worked on a design proposal for Seattle Airport. And it's like everything we're doing now is using sustainable materials. I don't think we even proposed one item that wasn't sustainable for that, So it's definitely a big movement. And I think within the next 10 years, we're going to see a significant advancement and an increase in sustainability.
Very well said. And just going off of that, as you work so much in the airport industry, that involves really navigating a lot of regulations and requirements. You've mentioned some of them already. How has your experience shaped your understanding of the airport world? And what key insights have you gained about managing projects in such a complex and highly regulated environment?
So I've been involved in the airport industry for 6.5 years, and I was transitioning from retail hospitality to airports. And when I first came on board to airports, I knew everything I needed to know about retail and absolutely nothing about airports. So that whole transition was a complete culture shock to me, and it took about 10 months to fully understand the complex processes and regulations that airports set. And not to mention, every single airport in this country is different. But one of the key insights that I quickly gained was the demand for the significant time and financial investment that it takes to work and formulate a business in an airport. Having a reliable contractor and a team of experienced employees that understand the airport complexities, and just navigating how to obtain design and approvals for your drawings and construction, it makes a complete difference of having the right team members on board. But often what we see is the challenges is trying to find contractors, subs, or vendors that have airport experience, and trying to find qualified people to provide quality work and for a reasonable price has been probably the biggest challenge.
That makes a lot of sense, especially as it is such a niche, sector, really, really specific. Do you
Yeah.
have a favorite airport as you do so much work in airports?
I actually have two. Denver being one of them. Denver is actually going through a whole renovation, so I'm so excited to see how that's going to turn out. But Denver has always been one of my favorites. I actually, when I was doing a COVID testing center there, I had the contractor take me underground in a golf cart through all of the tunnels underneath, and it was the wildest experience. And it's so massive underground that it is above ground. Like it was just mind blowing to see that. And then my second one is Salt Lake City, and Salt Lake City, I actually was designing and building out an express spa there while the whole airport was under construction. So I at least got to witness the whole progression from old to new and the construction process. So that was really exciting. And I always love when you go through TSA, there's a whole glass wall that overlooks the mountains. And I'm an avid skier, so it just like warms my heart every time I go through there.
I haven't been to either one, but they're both places I want to visit, so I'll definitely have to keep those in mind, and our listeners will too. My favorite abroad has been the Singapore airport. I don't know if you've
Yes.
been there, but that one is really amazing with all the inside gardens and things like that.
Yes.
One of the best. So great. Moving on a little bit to leadership. I would love to hear your insights as a woman in the construction and design field. You're definitely in a male dominated industry. How has your experience been as a female leader? And how do you see the role of women evolving in the sector?
Great question. So when I entered the design and construction industry at about a decade ago, there was already a good balance between men and women. While the design side traditionally had more women, some of the first project managers that I dealt with were women. Um, but of course, we're seeing a significantly more an increase of women in the field versus 10 to 20 years ago. And what's interesting is that we're currently in this generational transition where many of the 30, 40-year olds are now managing projects or going into these executive roles in construction companies, while the older generation is slowly stepping back. And I think the shift is super important and significant because the younger generation brings a different mindset where it is more inclusive of women, but it's also it also embraces technology more and AI. So it's kind of interesting to see how the old processes are being phased out and the new technology and AI is all coming into play. And it's just a really exciting time for all of us to just see how, this period of change and advancement in the industry.
Very well said. And I think that's also true across so many industries, especially, what's happening right now with, as you said, people retiring or stepping back. So I think what we'll see in the next, 10 years
Mhm.
related to technology, AI is really, really exciting. And as a leader, what are some of the key leadership principles or values that have guided you throughout your career?
So, relationships and trust are the two that I hold most dear to my heart. So regarding relationships, so building strong, high quality, and long lasting relationships with my not only my clients but my contractors, my vendors, even the employees of airports. is the heart of what I do, and it's going to be the heart of this company too. Anyone, like I said, has ever met me just knows that I am so passionate about my work, and the clients that we serve. And I think that enthusiasm that I have drives people to collaborate with us, and drives people and motivates them to deliver their best. It's also what sets Ignite Consulting apart from other project management companies is we generally care about our clients and projects, and treating them like family. And we want to see our clients succeed alongside of us, and this company is never going to be one that prioritizes profit over promise. And then trust is, I believe in a hands-off approach, empowering, our team by giving them the trust and freedom that they need, just excels them to, exceed more and more. Micromanaging was never my thing. I personally never liked it when I worked for someone else, and it's not something that I will ever do to any of my employees. I think when we provide employees with the trust that they need, they're more motivated to work harder and take pride in their work. And this goes for any company, right? That you try to hire the best people for the roles. And we should have the confidence in letting them fulfill those roles, because trusting the people that we hire is essential to building a successful company that can grow beyond our wildest imaginations. So teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Great quote, and I completely agree. So thank you for sharing that with us. And I'd love to pivot now to a little bit about what, we always talk about on this podcast, and that is vocal leadership. You are very active on your own LinkedIn, for example. You have a great personal brand. What is your opinion on what executives should share online? Where do you think they should draw the line on being vocal? And what advice would you give to other CEOs and executives in your industry who are looking to get started with their public presence?
So I believe that it's important for us to speak about the challenges we face in our roles and the industry, and just because learning is a continuous process for everyone, despite age or position, right? I think we're constantly learning every single day, and sharing experiences about struggles and how we overcome them can be incredibly valuable for a collective growth. I think when it comes to societal issues, it's like where it gets a little tricky, right? So particularly those of like current events or have political views, I think there's a delicate balance there. Especially over the past 8 years, it's become clear that discussing political views on professional platforms isn't appropriate. But these opinions should never reflect a company or its work. But again, at the same time, a lot of when they are those political viewpoints, those kind of discussions can extract external judgment and criticism, which can do a significant negative impact on a business. But when it comes to posting, I love posting. I think that posting consistently but not excessively is where to go, right? Sharing company updates, project progress, and even using hashtags to engage specific people or companies. I think that's super critical, and it really builds on that online presence we're trying to do. Highlighting your company's success can only boost your visibility. It's not going to do harm. Regular posts will also keep your company in front of people's eyes, will increase the chances of them remembering who you are, what your brand is, and what you stand for. And also when someone in your network likes something that you post or comments, that goes and reaches out to their network. So now you're expanding your presence further and further, and that's really how we develop and grow that social footprint effectively.
Very well said. You could be in marketing like we are. So that was a great description. So thank you for that, and really great advice to the listeners too. We always love on the podcast hearing different views of people who are vocal with political issues, who are more careful. Usually we personally ourselves at K Consulting also advise the same way you do. Don't put political things on professional platforms. And I think it was really great what you said about how to keep your presence active with those updates in between. So thank you for sharing that. And to wrap up, Iga, we've heard you are a country swing dancer and that you've even competed in competitions. Very cool. And also our first guest who has done something like this. So you're definitely the first, which is great. What drew you to this style of dance? And yeah, what are your goals for it? Why are you interested in country swing dance? Love to hear more about it.
Yeah, so I'm actually, I think I've completed a couple weeks ago my fourth competition, and I've only got involved in country swing dancing in January, so it's still relatively new. I grew up dancing. I was a ballroom dancer. I don't see myself going into a dancing career, but it's just something I picked up moving to Nashville, especially with line dancing. I got into that first, and then kept seeing everyone country swing dance, and it was just so amazing. So I decided to just kind of jump into something. But it's something that is just challenging, trying to get into a new hobby, meeting new people, especially, I've been in Tennessee for 2.5 years. It's a great way to meet people, just putting yourself out there, trying to challenge yourself in different ways. That's just really what it's all about. Like I said, I don't expect to have a dancing career, but doing these competitions also just really challenges you in different ways that you ever thought it would be. It's nerve-wracking having like 200 people stare at you. But it's also, it goes hand in hand with running your own company where you have to put yourself out there and engage with people. And sometimes it is nerve-wracking. But it's a great little hobby to have. I'm enjoying it a lot, trying to dance twice a week. But yeah, it's just been something I fell into and absolutely just love it.
A lot of great things you can learn there to bring into the business world, like you said. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, 200 eyes on you dancing afterwards, giving a TED talk is no big deal. So
Right.
it's good training for everything. Well, thank you so much, Iga, for joining us today. If people want to follow you, should they look on LinkedIn? What would you say are the best platforms for people to find out more about you and your company?
Yeah, so you can definitely check out our website, which is igniteconsulting.com. It does have our social media presence, which you can follow us on LinkedIn, and we do have an Instagram account as well. So yeah, if there is any interest, yeah, you can definitely contact us through our website, or just through LinkedIn. That'd be great.
Great. Thank you so much, Iga. And until next time.
Great, thank you.